Hey everyone, what's up? Um, Before we start, uh, yeah, the situation around the world today, and not only today, has been like this for a couple centuries now. The oppression of elites to people and minorities. So, yeah, let's not forget that really important subject. Yeah, but today we're gonna have my friend Ricardo on the show. I'm gonna put him now. All right. I'm just waiting for Ricardo. Hey, buddy, how are you, man? You good?
What's up, man? I'm good, man. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm good, brother. Thank you so much for being here today.
Pleasure.
And yeah, as I said before, like let's first give like support to the really fucking important causes that are going uh in the world right now, and not only right now. It's been like an oppression by power of violence and other stuff to minorities and people. So I think I
Yeah.
think the world
It's,
needs to wake up and address this
it's
issue.
just another, another case, but it's been way too long,
And
with people with this happening with the same situations. But sometimes we just don't really hear about it.
it's been for too long. So yeah, first everything, let's take this thing out of like the way, because I want to address that first before we even speak about anything else. But yeah, today, brother, thank you so much for being here.
No worries.
This is a conversation, and this is this has nothing to do with like artist promotion or anything. This is just a conversation between a friend. And today we're gonna talk about awareness songs and side stories, which is a record where every song is a celebration of life, a celebration of a positive way or outlook in life. So we found that what we can contribute today is to talk from the heart. So, and one experience that we both shared was this record, and we created pretty much like all of it in your bedroom, and that was like something really special about it. So today we're gonna talk about that, but also we're gonna give you tips on how to, if you want, or if you're a songwriter, or if you're a musician, how to start doing such things, and how to, like, what kind of equipments and what techniques can use. But first of all, Ricardo, for people that doesn't know you here, tell us a little bio intro. Like, you're from London, you're a sound engineer, but you also have Screaming Culture and other musical projects,
Yeah.
and you're also a piercer at Camden Piercing and Tattoo. So
True.
it's you're like a guy that does a lot of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
interesting in your life. So present yourself a little bit.
Yeah. I'm Ricardo. So I'm originally from Portugal, but I came to London in 2010. So I've been here for a while. I've studied music production at SAE in London, but I've also, been a musician most of my life. And then when I was here, I kind of, I've always been into tattoos and stuff. So I got introduced to the piercing art, and I start learning, and eventually I became a professional body piercer. But obviously, music, it's still, something that, you know, that I enjoy. Um, but I would say the piercings at the moment is something I really picked up, but I still making music, whenever I can.
And tell us more as well about your studies and what courses you took, because you studied in London, right?
Yeah, I first studied in Portugal. I studied sound and light. So that was the first thing, in theater. And then I've worked for a while with like live concerts, theater as well. And then eventually I came to London because I wanted to learn a little bit more about music production. And I thought that in Portugal, I've kind of sort of reached the, everything that I could at that point. I could go into some universities, but what they had to offer, it wasn't the same compared to the things in here. So I decided to move. I didn't plan to stay. I was planning to go back to Portugal and maybe like open a recording studio or something like that. But it never happened that way. I just ended up making my own home studio, still worked on my music, and eventually started working with, friends mainly. I did some paid work with sound as well, but, I only like to work with things that I enjoy. And for a while, I was working with a lot of sound projects that I didn't enjoy. So I kind of cut those out. And now I just work with, projects that are interesting to me.
And I think that's really important. Like, at least like in this DIY level we're speaking, we are free to choose to work with people we connect with and we really like, or the music we really like. That's like a that's, for me, that's a really good thing that we have in this community, like, because we don't have that like multi-million like contract pressures. We're like, yeah, fuck whatever, I'm gonna work with people I like.
It's more
So
genuine.
that yeah, exactly, that's more genuine, and that's what I really like. That was the thing. Like, yeah, people, for you might don't know this, but like, I met Ricardo in Porto once, but like when we really met was one day that I met him in his bedroom, basically at his house, and we started like jamming and doing stuff around. It's like, oh man, we should record stuff together and we should do music together. And like, we're from the same little town in Portugal, Somamede Festa,
Yep.
near Porto, but we really actually only met like in London, like properly met in London. So that's like also a crazy story. One of the side stories of the record.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's a really cool thing. So I met Ricardo a little bit out of like the blue, we just connected and we started like, I don't know. I remember we started like recording some stuff at his room, and then the Folk Collective with like BZ, Ash, Danilo,
Yeah.
So that was something. And then there was one day I remember that we started. I was like, oh, I have this song, and you're like, oh, this song is cool. Oh, let's try and do something with this song. And then in the end of the day, we had Mom and Dad,
Mom and dad. Yeah.
like recorded. So in your home studio bedroom with all your equipment and stuff, but it was done in
Yeah.
one day. And we were like, oh, maybe we can record a record like in 4 or 5 days, or like we talked about that. And like, and then it started the the recordings of Awareness Songs and Side Stories. And now I want you to tell us a little bit more of like how many days we recorded and like what was the experience.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how many days it was. I kind of lost track, but it wasn't many days. It was just a few days, uh, and we did stuff like as we had the time, really, because we were both like busy with work and stuff, so we're all kind of figuring out when we could do it, and when we would get a bit of time, we would go and do it. There was a few afternoons that we did, and then we did a few things that we, smaller sessions. But yeah, it was pretty cool because it was just like we were kind of exploring because we didn't have the complete thing, like, so we also been producing it for a while because there was a lot of ideas that actually came up in the recording process. Oh, let's put a guitar in here. Oh, let's
Yeah,
the bass in that. What is that song? There's one song that we put this bass line.
it's just a matter of practice.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That we added this bass line pretty much after the song was ready, you know, because the song was already like sort of structured and recorded, but then it's like, what about if we add like something else, and we just start trying things, you know, weird things, and
And
eventually, yeah, you came up
bass.
with that bass part, and I was like, yeah, that really kind of connects with it, and then we decided, yeah, let's put this part in, and then when we mixed it, it was sounding good, and then we kept it in the record.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention that all the songs that I brought like to the studio, they were just singer-songwriter songs of like acoustic guitar and
Yeah,
vocals, and we had to figure out doing all the stuff before the drums because we only recorded the drums later.
yeah,
So we had to imagine in our heads how the drums would be like, record everything else, and
yeah.
then hope for Bernardo to do like a good job, like messing around with those tempos, you know.
Definitely not the typical way, you know. Like you know, many times you start actually with the drums, you know, like so. You know, in most recording projects, you have just like a bass guitar, and then the, you know, the click track, and the drummer is gonna record to it. But in this case, we had all the guitar tracks, all the bass tracks before everything, because it was what we could do, because first we didn't have well, we could, you know, just record some guide tracks and get the drummer to record, you know, stuff to it, but the thing is that we still didn't really have the feel of the songs, and we were kind of, you know, making the songs work first, you know, and then bring the drummer in and get him to do his magic as well, of course. And
Yeah, that
obviously that was the only thing we couldn't record in the
exactly.
room, so that was the reason as well.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like the only thing we didn't record in your bedroom slash kitchen, because yeah, there was like a couple of vocal takes that we were doing in the kitchen and acoustic guitars.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff was done in the kitchen,
Yeah,
because I remember we were tracking the things inside the room where everything is, and eventually it was like we weren't getting the sound on the guitar. I think we were like, man, I don't know, there's something. I don't really like the
like
sound of it.
dry. It was
Yeah,
like
no,
drier.
it was just not sounding right, and then it was like, okay, let's do something in the kitchen. So we use like blankets, you know, all that sort of things, and we did it in the kitchen, and it actually sounded better straight away. The first take we heard it, and it was like, yeah, you know, I like the sound. So then we start, you know, we start recording, and I still remember my housemate, you know, arriving, and she's coming into the kitchen, and there's someone in there like screaming like and singing, you know, like pretty fun.
Oh man, no, that was some really fun stories about that record as well. But yeah, we should uh, we should move on now to the second part of our conversation,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is like for people that like people in this live and people that might watch this later on YouTube or IGTV, like what are like in terms in terms of like equipment, you know, like what do you think is necessary? Like, let's not get too much in detail, like in like quality and stuff for now, but like, what should people have like to record stuff? Like the easiest thing, like, so people imagine I'm not a musician and I want to record stuff in my computer. What should I get?
Mm-hmm. Um, I would say, you know, you always need a sound card. That's the first thing. Obviously, there's loads of different types of sound cards, different, you know, types of quality and budgets. But you can start with a, you know, pretty cheap sound card. I would say, you know, probably about £100. You know, you already can get like a, you know, a sound card that will allow you to record. Because obviously, when you're recording at home, you're like, you know, it's possible for you to make like a proper record in a room and in a bedroom, but You know, I think when people are starting, what you really want to make is demos. So you can show to people and maybe then get to a proper studio to re-record it. But I would say, you know, in terms of equipment, you need a sound card. That's the most basic. And then you need a microphone and a cable, obviously. I think that's the most basic. And then if you use an instrument, you know, usually a sound card will have a line in that you can use to plug in your instrument directly, or in some cases you might use a DI box as well. But you know, there's several options, and I think it's these days it's very easy to have a small setup. Obviously, you know, one more thing that you need then is a DAW, which is like an audio workstation basically, where you're going to record your stuff into and edit and all that. And then you have many options for those. You know, you can use Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Cubase. You know, there's a ton of them.
Thank you, Ricardo. No, because I think it's really important, like, to go really through like the basics of this, because some people might know this, but some people might not know this, and it's important to cover like all grounds, you know. And yeah, so this is like the basic. This is like the 101. Another, like, okay, I'm a singer songwriter, and this is like usually I'm like pretty much asking questions that I would actually wanted to know, you know. So that's how I'm gonna get like tips and tricks for everybody. Like, imagine I have what is like the best mic to record vocals? What is the best mic to record an acoustic guitar? Or what different kinds of mics and what number of mics should I use?
Okay.
Yeah, that's like
you know, I don't think there's such thing as the best mic. Every mic will have, you know, a slightly different, you know, frequency response, and that will have, you know, will reflect into like a different sound, sort of sounding. It's going to be the same source. Let's say you have a source and you have several different microphones. Different microphones will give you a slight different, you know, sound, and it's a little bit of a preference. There's obviously, you know, stuff that is more used in the studio, and more stuff that is more used live. When you're talking about live situations, you usually use dynamic microphones, because if you would use, like, let's say a condenser microphone like in the studio, it would create loads of feedbacks and problems. You know, but in terms of choosing the right microphone, you know, there are some guidelines. There are some, you know, microphones that you're always gonna use for certain things, but you know, it's very subjective to taste. You know, it's you know, it really depends on what you like. Obviously, if you have, you know, everything available, you know, you're gonna be able to be super picky and go with, you know, choose everything. But sometimes, and I would say in most cases, you don't have, you know, everything. You know, like there's microphones that are, you know, everybody knows about, like a SM58 or an SM57. Those are microphones that are going to be in like most studios, most live, you know, venues, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you know, like it's where are we going with this? Wait,
no. So basically, my question was like, if I want to record vocals in my bedroom, which kind of microphone should I use it, and what should I like? Should I opt and buy a pop filter? It's that a good investment? Like,
with vocals, if you want to record in your bedroom, I would say a condenser mic, a large diaphragm condenser mic. The brand, you know, it's a bit up to you, really. You know, it's whatever like you can afford. You know, like there's many options, you know, or up to taste. But I would say that would be the best option. Pop filter, I would say yes. You know, always use it. You know, kind of a little tip for the pop filter is don't put it exactly straight to the mic. You know, kind of tilt it a little bit. That's gonna help out. And yeah, that's pretty much like what you need. You know, like I think there's like the Rode NT1As, like that's a pretty like sort of cheap microphone that I would say it's pretty decent for the price and for the way it sounds. You know, it's a decent microphone. I've worked with some in the past. You know, they're not the best, but they're definitely worth what they cost.
And for example, for like acoustic guitars, what you recommend? Like, do you recommend two mics? Do you recommend one mic? It depends on what you want to get, but for like
Yeah,
the streaming, like the streaming kind of like.
it would really depend on, I would say, the style of music that you're recording. Okay, because in certain things you really want to have, let's say you're just recording one acoustic guitar, that's the whole thing in the album, or it's going to have just a few other things, but the main thing is the acoustic guitar. You want to have as much detail as possible, so in that case you're probably going to use two mics, sometimes even more, you know, like, but you know, you want to get that, you know, you want to get all the details. If you want to bring more in the fingers and the fretboard, you will be able, because you have a separate microphone that is just, you know, pretty much picking up that. And then you're going to have, you know, and then, you know, with the acoustic guitar, it's a little tricky. If you put your microphone right in front of the hole, it's just going to be a very boomy sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to, with recording, you kind of need to try. It's a bit of trial and error. You know, obviously there's a few obviously positions that it's normal, but I would say, you know, you need to play with the microphone a little bit. You know, move it around, see what sounds good to you, and once you find the right spot, then record, you know, a real take with that.
Boom. Thank you.
No
No,
worries.
I think because I think these are tips that like are good for me, for everybody that like watches, and even for like other sound engineers, because I see Mind is here, and it's good to have like an open conversation of which like what are like the preferences on each other, and like, because the thing about sound and music, guys, there are different methods, different ways of doing stuff, and no way is wrong, no way is right. And
So,
I think to a certain extent as well, like the way we created what we created in your bedroom was like because we were like focused more of how it was sounding. Like obviously we had some limitations because we were like doing like a home studio thing,
yeah,
and in the kitchen, the bedroom, but we were relying in like the sound of it, you know.
yeah,
And I think
the main,
that's something we should never forget. Like even if you have like $1 million studio, or a $10,000 studio, or $1,000 studio, go with your heart and go with like, I think that's like, yeah, with your ear. This is like the thing. If it is sounding good, I mean, I'm a musician. I don't know if that's like the thing, but I guess it's the same for you, Ricardo, right? Like,
yeah. So I guess I started as a musician, so I always probably seen things more as a, or at least for a long time, I seen things as a musician perspective. And then eventually I got interested. I got interested when I went to record my songs for the first time. When I saw the guy recording, and you know, just like, you know, touching the faders and changing this, changing that. I'm like, whoa, what hell's he doing? And I was like, nah, I want to do, you know, I want to do this. I want to know how to do this. And you know, it's just something that really motivates you to like keep going.
man. And another thing I want to like touch is, yeah, like we went through like this whole conversation on like how we created tips and everything, but we're missing something here in the conversation, which is why we do this, why we record songs, why we do this, why that's why I wanted to do anyway the talk today,
Mm.
because recording your songs or recording your voice, knowing how to record and to properly do it, it's a voice. You earn a voice. You can speak out your own truth. And in moments like this, it's really important that you know how to use your tools and guns, and this is a gun, and your creativity is a gun against the system. And that's the thing. So that's why I wanted to make this conversation happen anyway. And I think, I don't know, share your thoughts as well on this, because we always know that through music revolution happens, you know.
Yeah.
And through culture, not only music, through culture, like, this happens. So I want you, Ricardo, as well, to express like your thoughts on the reason to put music out, the reason to, like, you have a platform there, so we should use it, right?
Yeah, no, definitely we should. And, music is a powerful form of expression, like, and people should be able to, express themselves. And not only with music, art in general, I think is pretty powerful. But music these days, music does reach a lot of people, and the things you say can have a huge impact on people's lives and on change. So I think, yeah, it's pretty important that people put out, what they're feeling, like, and music is just like, I think music is just like a bit of a release for people like us, because we have things going on inside us, and we need to find a kind of a way to express them and put them out. Otherwise we'll kind of go a little crazy. And it's just like, it's sort of a therapy, I would say. But at least for me, it works as a therapy. If I don't have music in my life, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Like, it's just like, it's super weird to think about it. I listen to music the whole day, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I do know that, because I've been a lot of times with you. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's like another thing. Like, for people who don't know you here, man, like, Ricardo is this guy that, like, he literally won't leave without like music, you know. Like, I every time I'm with him, he's like, the first thing he does when he arrives to like the studio is put some music on, or like, even like bicycle, or driving a bicycle, or in the studio, everywhere, like, everywhere. I
Nice to
One thing that like, you are like an inspiration, in the sense of, like, you really love music, you know. And it's good that you can express yourself, like, not in like the mainstream way and stuff, but you still have a lot of fun doing it, you know.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And I think
Definitely.
that's the main reason why we create, you know. And that's why I'm doing this conversation, because, like, at this point, I really don't care like how successful we are, or you are, or I am, or other people are. Like, it doesn't matter, you know. Like,
Yeah,
you have fun doing music, you express yourself through music, and man, it's really like inspiring to see like the effect of that particular art in you, as like, and in other people. Is really
of
cool,
course.
man.
No, definitely, I agree with you, man. Like, music is the thing for me, at least for me. I don't.
No, it's really important that people understand that, like, we don't do this music to be famous, or to attract this or that, or blah blah. No, I think ultimately, like, we do this because we feel the need and the want to express ourselves through that channel,
I
because it
think
feels
what
so good.
I think what is important about musicians is to keep that mentality, that kid mentality you had when you started, because that's what a lot of musicians lose, and that happens when many times when they start seeing money.
Yeah.
Because then they start seeing music as their money making machine, and then it feels like they're writing a check. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like, it's just not it's not the same thing anymore. So I think what is important for musicians is to stay pure and stay true to like what they really are, like, and keep that kid mentality and that kid energy and wanting to explore. And you're not doing, when you're a kid, you're not really doing it for fame, for money, it's just like you're so impressed with seeing other people playing music You're not even thinking how much money they're making. You're just so impressed by them playing music that you're like, I want to do this.
Exactly.
And then you meet a bunch of friends that feel the same way, and that's how things start. But I would say maybe more than 50% of the people lose it.
Yeah, man, for sure. But other 50% they don't, and we need to focus on the
Those ones
fucking
are
reels.
those ones are musicians forever. They might never get successful in their lives, but they're gonna be 80 years old and they're still gonna be enjoying playing their guitar, man.
Fuck yeah, man. And ultimately, like, I think this is a lesson, like, with all of like the world situation, all the chaos, all the situation with the virus being like all these things. I think ultimately we need to at least have a place where we can enjoy ourselves, and uh, some people is music, other people is meditation, other yoga, but like it's good that at least during this like weird times we can put our energies into something that we really love, and we can also use it as a tool to express our truth.
Yeah.
That's awesome, that's awesome. And I really like, for everybody that is watching, I really, I don't know, man, try and write a song. You don't know how to play an instrument, write a lyric and sing it, try to express yourself, try it. Why not? You don't need to be like a billboard musician, but try to express yourself through music, sing or dance, like it's good to express ourselves. You don't need to record records and do shows or whatever, no, but it's good to have that confidence in you, because I believe that everybody is an artist, and everybody should be able to express themselves in the way they want, and yeah, Ricardo, dude, thank you so much for bringing as well this vibe to the to the
No,
conversation. You're allowing this to happen, man. Yeah, it was a real pleasure, dude. And if you
thanks, man.
have any more message to share to everybody, just share it. This is your platform too, so this moment is for you. A message of love, a hope, or wherever you want to share, man.
I just hope, all this situation with the virus obviously been affecting everybody. So we're all, hoping that this clears soon and that people will be able to go to some sort of, go back to some sort of normality. I know it's going to take a while, but, everybody should be together. Everybody should be hopeful. And, we shouldn't stop doing the things that we enjoy, and maybe things are a little bit limited right now with the stuff we can do, but there's always things that you can do. And if you don't, if you really wanted to play guitar and maybe you don't, you never had the time, you got the time now, and I can promise you, you can, travel really far just with a guitar. And yeah, I think that's it. I think for all the kids that are out there, wanting to make music and they don't know how to start, just start doing it, record it. These days you can even record it with your iPhone, with your phone, anything, like, so, just record it. It might sound like shit the first time, but I can promise you you're gonna get better.
Exactly, man. Fuck yeah, brother. Thank you so much for your words. Oh, and nonetheless, so you guys can understand, we're speaking from the UK. Both me and Ricardo are still like
Kind of
in
lost you.
in a situation where we can't work. So that's why we're still like talking about lockdown things and virus things. That's why we're addressing this subject, because we're both in the tattoo industry or piercer body mod industry. So our business are still shut down. So that's why
Yeah.
we're still addressing this. It doesn't mean, again, like I want to be as like PC as possible in this kind of lives and stuff. That's why we're addressing this kind of situation. And obviously today, especially today, there's other situations going around, and we already addressed that. And we hope that, like, to end this conversation in this note, I hope that violence and brutality, all kinds of brutality, fucking ends, because it's insane, you know we are beings of love. And we should love one another, you know. I really do believe that, man.
Yeah, man, definitely.
That, like, seeing the stuff I see, like, dude, this is weird, man, but seeing the stuff I see, like, on like social media and stuff, like people fighting, it fucking breaks my heart. That's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's the thing, man. It just fucking breaks my heart, like seeing human beings like fighting for everything, man. That I mean, I know that, like, Black Lives Matter and everything, but like seeing people acting in violence, and it's just weird. And like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's, I just want to send love, send hope, and and uh and yeah, man. I and wish people to wake up, and yeah, fight the power. Fuck yeah. Oh man, dude, Ricardo, thank you so much for joining this conversation in a day like this. I really appreciate
No
your
problem, man.
time. I really appreciate your energy, and I really appreciate that you came here and used your voice. And yeah, um, dude, I'm just thankful for your time, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Have a great evening. And I
Coach.
don't know if anyone has questions for Ricardo. If you guys do, just write it down. I don't know, because I totally forgot to ask as well. I've seen Amaro was here, mine was here, a lot of people, cool people join as well. Thank you guys for watching this as well. And yeah, thank you, Ricardo. Um, let's talk soon about any other subject that you find interesting, because this is not like we bless this mess and all this stuff, man. I'm using this to spread the word of my friends, to spread the word of everybody. So this platform is mine and yours. And anytime you want to bring another message to the table, just let me know, okay, brother? Boom.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
Take care, brother. Bye bye, man. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for staying in the conversation today. Um, Again, yeah. Um, I don't want to. I don't want to anyway like promote anything or any song or stuff like that. This is just a conversation between friends. I just wanted to spend some time because I'm still not able to work. I'm on lockdown. That's why I'm doing these conversations anyway. It's because this helps me out, as helps other people out, but just by having a conversation. Uh, but I'm justifying myself because nowadays you kind of need to. Thank you, everybody that was watching. And tomorrow we're gonna have Scott, um, Scott Goodrich again, and it's gonna be kind of a continuation of the conversation we had today. Also, mind, if you want, if you're still there, let's have a talk one of these days as well, and I'll write you about that. Yeah, but tomorrow we're gonna have Scott Goodrich, and we're gonna also talk about how to build a DIY home studio. He's gonna have a little Google Doc thing for us with like equipment and stuff, so we can have like different perspectives and different opinions, and then you can just yeah, you can just decide, you know, and if you want to start recording shit at your home, you can, or just voice, or you know. Um, Thank you, guys. Thank you. So yeah, that's tomorrow. Thursday we're gonna have Beresh from True Mountains, and yeah, you can do it in Bulgarian. Mine, it would be amazing. So yeah, Thursday we're gonna have Beresh. Friday is Festa de Nelson, and Saturday we're gonna have Travis Pacheco. So that's the rest of the week. Um, And again, thank you so much. This program is really, it helps me loads during these times, and I can communicate with you guys. And thank you for showing up. And see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Bye bye.